it at all. I think right now, Dan McGwire. Lee, get your pen ready. You got another one coming in the first round. I really believe that McGwire's got to be the choice here. He's a big kid. He's a strong kid. It's a system that fits him. Jankovic wants him. He's going to get him. Now is an opportunity for him to make a statement in the National Football League and say, I'm controlling this. This is our football team. I really believe that, Dan, this is a good place for him, too. I think he can really help it. McGwire is really interesting. He doesn't play like a kid 6'8". He plays like a kid more at 6'5". I've read the reports on him. They say his feet isn't that good. He's not that mobile. I don't buy it at all. What I saw on film is a real, true, blue-chip pro prospect.
And McGwire is officially anointed our 1991 Bubble Man. And this could be a first, Dan, because no Bubble Man has ever gone in the first round until what we think will be you this year in the first round. Will he go?
It's true. Sam Jankovic does like Mr. McGwire. He likes his abilities. He likes him as an individual. But in talking yesterday with Joe Mendes, the player personnel director, and with head coach Dick McPherson, I think offensive line is the order of the day right now. This football team gave up 58 sacks last year. Armstrong gives them already stability on one side, and they are about to make the pick, we understand. So let's go back to New York, and we will settle the mystery.
The New England Patriots select Pat Harlow, tackle from Southern California.
Real strong possibility. I don't agree with it, and maybe they were afraid Harlow wouldn't be there. I think McGwire is the guy. I really believe there's going to be 3 going in the first round somewhere. I think McGwire is going to be the logical choice, unless, of course, Seattle takes. Now, Seattle enters into the picture. We heard him say that he's got family up there, likes the area, people like him. You know, don't get restless, Dan. Don't move. Don't go anywhere. Your turn's coming.
See, I heard as soon as I mentioned the word bubble, that was it.
Gone.
The bubble had not burst yet. Let's go to Ron Franklin now for a reaction now that Harlow is officially their tab.
Well, we're waiting right now. Sam Jankovic is going to come out and visit with us momentarily. But one other point about the 17th pick, guys. Coach Mack also told me down in his office yesterday that just last week, Stanley Richard from the University of Texas was up and he visited with him. He really likes the youngster as a human being and also as a football player. He is gone. They were hoping, quite frankly, that they could get Richard in that number 17 pick. So, Sam Jankovic also mentioned that they might go dealing for the number 17 spot, but I think Joe's point is well taken also. If McGwire is still there, that might be the option. As soon as we get Sam in here, we'll get him to elaborate on it just a little bit. Chris, back.
Now, the Seattle Seahawks, they had pretty much a dead heat with the 3 quarterbacks. And what I'm talking about is Brett Favre, Dan McGwire, our bubble man, and also Browning Nagel from Louisville. On cue. See, even in the offseason, he's ready. They had about a dead heat. They weren't going to decide till late this morning, and now they have a decision that they could pick any one of the 3 quarterbacks. This could be quarterback time. Let's go out to Mark Schwartz and see if our bubble man, if it's his time. Mark?
All right, Chris. Well, our bubble man is a little bit more on the bubble than he was maybe an hour ago. You were pretty relaxed earlier in the round, and now you're getting to 16. You know that this is maybe the moment.
Yeah, maybe. I'm looking forward to it. Just a few more minutes here, so.
What about, you know, Seattle? I mean, do you feel like if you don't get picked by Seattle, then this could drag on and on?
Well, it's not the end of the world. I mean, there's a lot of picks left in the first round, and, you know, I'm not worried at all.
Lee, Seattle, you've mentioned, has a possibility here of maybe trading the pick down, maybe feeling that Dan might be available later in the round.
We're not trying to play general manager here, and excuse my voice, this is non-stop talking. The thing about the way the draft lays out is the teams with the best record, oddly enough, are at the bottom. Also can be excellent teams for a quarterback to go to. We'd love it if Dan went to Seattle. If he doesn't, he'll end up with the great teams at the bottom of the round.
That's right. That's something you pointed out the whole time. But what contact have you had with Seattle that leads you to believe that the Seahawks are pretty interested in your guy?
Oh, the normal contacts that go on when a team is focused on a player, and it just seems like a natural situation.
He's from that area, has all his family there. When was the last time that you spoke with the Seahawks this afternoon?
This morning.
This morning? How long ago?
It's impossible to calculate what is morning and night anymore, I'm sure. I'm sure every draftee in the country has been up all night, and so have we. So It was sometime in the last day.
Okay, well, one thing I could assure you is the people that are here rooting for Dan McGwire were pleased that New England passed him up. They went crazy when that happened, so they're hoping for Seattle. Chris?
All right, Mark, thank you very much. And those of you, as you know it's noon Pacific, 3 Eastern time. The Rocket press conference, those of you waiting for that press conference, that's been delayed a little bit. You know, the game went into double overtime last night, the hockey game he was at, so obviously everything's backed up a little bit out west. As soon as he comes out, we will go to that live. We are waiting on the Seattle Seahawks pick. Is it McGwire? Is it Favre? Is it Nagel? We'll see. We shall see. We'll be going back to Los Angeles in just a moment, but is this our quarterback? Is this our receiver?
Quarterback.
The Seattle Seahawks select Dan McGwire, quarterback, San Diego State. The next choice is Dallas, from Houston through New England.
So there's the scene in Newport Beach as Dan McGwire, our bubble man, is no longer, they're blowing bubbles out there, that's for sure, because Dan McGwire has now been selected by the Seattle Seahawks, and he will back up Dave Craig. Kelly Stoffer never really materialized, that's for sure. And so it looks like McGwire, the direct opposite of Dave Craig, will now go in a non-pressure situation. He's not being expected to go in and play quarterback right away for the Seattle Seahawks. They've got the experienced guy that moves a little bit. This Dan McGwire, San Diego State, tallest quarterback ever to play in the NFL when he does get in there. And also the meanest-looking quarterback ever to wear a visor.
The thing about him is, here you see the air he puts under the ball. These are hard things to teach. And that's getting the ball up in the air and giving a receiver a chance to run under it. He does the same thing on the run. We saw on the first play, he throws well to his left. He lays back, sets the ball up, and just really a little bit like Doug Williams used to do. Sits back on that back foot. Now look at the strength. If you can't get it with one hand, just lob it out and make it a basketball catch. I mean, he has great ability. His movement for a man at 6'8" is very impressive. I do not agree with what the scouts say, that this guy doesn't move around very well. The professional quarterback today only has to have mobility to avoid a rush. And remember, they changed the rule. They changed the rule that says that the in the grasp no longer exists. If this was professional football 1990, for example, watch where he'll get tackled. All right, he's up in the air. The whistle would have blown probably right about here. Now they're going to let people play. Look at how strong his arms are. He's got everybody trying to grab at it. Maryland's trying to take the ball away from him. He couldn't do it. And he has a presence of mind to find a receiver. This young man's going to be a big part of Seattle's future. David Craig doesn't have to be worried. He has to feel comfortable that his football team now has a chance, if something happens to him, to continue in a winning way.
Yeah, and I think the other thing that you mentioned, Chris mentioned, the fact that when you think about the history of the Seahawks, you see Jim Zorn, you see Dave Craig. And Dave Craig's a fine quarterback, obviously, but I think that they wanted to go, especially this time, we talked about him getting the biggest, strongest guy that they could get to play quarterback, a guy who can see over the line, a guy who's going to get rid of some passes that normally might be knocked down by a guy who's shorter.
See, over your 5 quarterbacks are gone, and really the 4 that we thought that could, if things broke a certain way, Mel, go all in the first round. It should be a little, well, Zolak would be next, but this is about where we thought they would go by this point in the draft.
It really is, Chris. At one point, about a month ago, I didn't think there would be a quarterback selected in the first round, or at least it may not be. Of course, McGwire went. Then we had the second-round quarterbacks back-to-back, and this is about where Boomer Esiason went in 1984. Good spot to go. The pressure's not there of being a first-round pick. You come in. Of course, they had Troy Taylor there as a younger quarterback. It's not the pressure on Nagel, not any pressure on Favre, having Chris Miller there to be the quarterback. And both these guys, I think, will outshine Todd Marinovich, who went to the Raiders in the first round.
All right, so 4 quarterbacks gone. The Dallas